I didn't notice, but Monday was MLK Day, and it's a day where a bunch of people have parades, conventions, parties, gatherings, all to talk about a man who's done a lot for the betterment of Black Americans in today's society. And while people were doing that, I uploaded a video about 3 Black men who do their damnedest to talk down and hurt the reputation of Black women. But what's interesting, and what I didn't notice until now, Wednesday, January 19th at 6:20 in the morning, is that Timbuktu is a reminder that there are Black individuals, and yes, other races do this too, but I'm specifically talking about this subsection of the Black community, that there are those who will do their best to act like the victim 24/7 and don't want anybody to judge them based on the color of their skin. But those same group of people who are Black will do it to everyone else because they feel like it's necessary to point it out. You have individuals like Timbuktu who spend their time talking down about white women in order to prop up Black women.
Brothers, they just love them some cracker women. They just love them some blonde-haired, blue-eyed, pink-toed, pale-skinned, buttermilk complexion, ironing board backside, Caucasoid mutanoid, subject of itch, white cave bitches. And it's a shame. I call Brother Myron the Sambo from Sudan. I'm hoping that he hasn't been bit by the white Arab disease that teaches that the white Sudanese is better than the Black Sudanese. And so, come on, brothers, wake up. If you're going to be an entertainer, be a revolutionary entertainer. If you're going to do something, be like Paul Mooney, man. But stop being a Sambo and a Tom and a bootlicking tool for the Klan and white racism and white supremacy. And that's what I'm like. When are you going to stop, brother? Because if you don't stop, the new Black Panther Party is going to have to stop you.
A couple months ago, you had a woman trying to talk up Black men being fetishized, but she referred to white women as snow roaches.
Trying to address it to TikTok, but the way you're toning, the way you had to hesitate to say TikTok means you're trying to address it to Black women. Secondly, can you stop fetishizing Black men? Like, I'm so tired of seeing you fucking snow roaches fetishizing Black men.
A couple weeks ago, you had a group of Black individuals, young, same age as me in their 20s and possibly older, cheering on somebody else who is Black, advocating for the genocide of white people. And I'm just sitting back thinking, and then I remember that there's a certain part in Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech that a lot of Black individuals today do not follow because they think it only applied to white people. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And while, yes, it is true, every group of races, ethnics, and all these different types do this. The reason why I'm specifically talking about this part of the Black community is because this same group, if a white person were to talk about their skin or demean them or judge them based on their skin, they'd cry immediately on social media, but they still feel comfortable doing this type of shit. And it's destructive in thinking that these ideas or these talking points are the things that will get them this everlasting peace that they keep talking about. And I feel like this does a disservice to a man who y'all prop up every time you decide that Black Lives Matter. And what's interesting is that it's always coming back to a group of people that always want to be heard but never want to listen. It's odd that there are people who spend their time saying we need to be doing things about all these white people because white people are bad, white people do this, white people do that, and it's always going to be an issue if these white, cracker-headed, incest-ridden, pasty, white, glue-faced bastards always do something. But then if those same individuals look at Black people and follow them in a store or say, hey, what are you doing over there, or assume that they're stealing or do anything based on the color of their skin, it's a problem. We can't have one be bad, but the other be the salvation of a group of people, because that's not how the world works. And it's weird because nobody's going to be bowing down to your weird demands of accepting them when you spend 24 hours out of 7 days in a week talking down on other groups of people, making the same derogatory comments that if they were made back at you, you'd get back on these same platforms and cry that racism still exists, and how dare you all step on the hard work of all these different legends who've done so much for the black community when you do a disservice to their own words. There should be no reason that a bunch of people who are breaking in stores, burning buildings down, and saying, hey, don't get the black owned stores, and then end up still robbing the black owned stores, use Martin Luther King as the shield, because when somebody criticizes what they're doing and they say that, that's supposed to be the thing to get them to stop criticizing them for doing something stupid. You can't sit there and say Martin Luther King would advocate for all this rioting, and then if I point out that you're doing something that goes in the opposite direction of something Martin Luther King actually said, you turn around and you cry foul and say it's only and pertains to these white racist individuals. Black people can't be racist. Black people have never had the power for racism. Black people have never had the institutional fortitude to be racist to another group of people. You have a mind that thinks a lot of this derogatory shit, and you use your mouth to say it. You don't need power in systems in order to look at somebody and say some outlandish shit about their skin color or what they might do in their spare time because of what they got attached to their body. You just need to be dumb as fuck and disrespectful. Stop using that excuse in order to keep saying some outlandish shit. Two wrongs don't make a right, and you have a lot of people who have been wronged in history by racial incidents. It's true. Whether a bunch of people want to deny it or not, it's a fact. But you can't turn around and have an attitude of, okay, now that all these years have gone by and legally a lot of these things you can't do anymore because it's wrong, now it's my turn because my history is full of oppression and a bunch of people being held down, and the only logical conclusion is to treat people based on how others in the past treated others who look like me. You're not going to get anywhere doing shit like that. You are not going to get this black peace that you're expecting 24/7. You're never going to get the reparations doing dumb shit like that. You're not going to get the pack mule. You're not going to get the 400 acres, because why would anybody want to respect someone who's judging people based on the color of their skin and not the content of their character? And a little side note, this has nothing to do with this, but I just thought of it. There are individuals who judge people based on sexualities and not the content of character. And again, I know I keep mentioning this almost every time I do a video about it, but it's weird that people get mad at me because I don't respect the pronouns of someone who sexually assaults their own mother or shoots up a school because they're a transgender, and you're supposed to respect them no matter what they do. I'm sorry, but no, it's never gonna happen, because I'm judging them based on the actions, not so much the content of their character, instead of what they feel they are inside and what they got dangling between their legs. But back to the main point, don't y'all see that doing things like this is not okay? More specifically, people like Kim Tuktulhulu, who will talk down about people to prop up others. Don't you see that this is not going to be for the betterment of black people? When I hear that I have a dream speech, of course, in reality, in the fact that I live here, we still have racial issues. We still have racial incidents. Whether people want to deny it or not, they exist. Just because you don't see them 24/7 because you live in some weird echo chamber of everything being positive, they still exist. They are real incidents. Why do you think it's okay to continue going about spreading a lot of hate? Why do you think it's necessary to continue to go out and say derogatory things about other people when you know deep down in the bottom of your stomach, when somebody says it to you, you're gonna cry foul? Why is one okay but not another one okay? How come it's not all okay? Why isn't it that all of this shit is agreed upon, that it's stupid to say and do, and we all stop doing it? Because again, it's not just black people. It's not just this subsection of the black community that I'm talking about. It's white people, Asians, Indonesians, Japanese, Chinese. It's all of us as a collective. But again, the reason why I'm specifically talking about this subsection of black people is that you see them everywhere. They're always talking about whiteness being a problem, white man being bad, white woman being a Karen, and all these different young white adults not understanding the privilege that they have and how they oppress a group of people, and they should be ashamed of that, or they should give it up, or they should hand it over, and all these different forms of punishment that are being said by this same subsection, that if all of that was said back at them, or if these same slurs and hatefulness was said back at this subsection of black people, you would have them getting on these platforms and crying about how racism still exists and how they are being targeted by people who are calling them out for the same shit that they're doing to others. You can call me a hater of black people. You can say I have internalized racism. You can say I hate looking at myself in the mirror and seeing black. You can say that I'm a pick-me, a bootlicker, and all this different shit.
And so, come on, brothers, wake up. If you're going to be an entertainer, be a revolutionary entertainer. If you're going to do something, be like Paul Mooney, man. But stop being a Sambo and a Tom and a bootlicking tool for the Klan and white racism and white supremacy. And that's what I'm like. When are you going to stop, brother? Because if you don't stop, the new Black Panther Party is going to have to stop you. Black power.
And all I'm going to do at the end of the day is laugh, because how can you hear somebody with an actual grievance in the black community say something that's obvious and that's bad and that's not going to help the black community and just throw these buzzwords out? Why do you think that should be the first response in order to respond to criticism that is legitimate? Because whether you want to admit it or not, somebody getting on a platform and just saying all this stupid shit about a group of people, and then they turn around and scream, "We must help the black man," is comical and embarrassing at the same time. Because when you get more and more of these same people who say that and do that and think that they're always in the right and think that everything they're saying is what's going to be the ultimate salvation for a group of people, and then it doesn't happen because people see that and they laugh at how stupid they sound, because they're not talking about peace, they're not talking about equality, they're talking about superiority. It's amazing that their response is always going to be a buzzword about being a victim, even though they're so comfortable spewing hate about other people. And to wrap this up, because I feel like it's necessary to be said, because for some reason I saw a clip of the man in charge of this country saying something so fucking stupid.
But even Dr. King's assassination did not have the worldwide impact that George Floyd's death did.
These two individuals are not and will never be in the same category of importance to the black community. One of these individuals actually led a fight and was doing things for the betterment of the black community, while the other is a political football that will be used every 4 years when it's decided that Black Lives Matter. You can try and argue, but never will these two individuals be in the same category of importance. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.